exercise. And there are legal issues that we are speaking to our lawyers about that.
And later, junior high school student receives scholarship following a City TV report.
Very glad and happy, and I appreciate whatever they've done for me. And I pray to God that God should establish this school and make it bigger than this.
Bringing details of our stories, and the deputy ranking member on Parliament's Education Committee, Clement Apak, is calling for a complete shutdown of schools over the rise in COVID-19 cases.
So far, schools such as Accra Girls Senior High School, Wesley Senior High School and others have recorded positive cases after school resumed.
Now, this has caused tension among students and fear amongst parents, with some demanding the awards to be released to them.
Speaking to the media in the House, the Bosa South MP said the development is an indication that schools are still not safe.
The motive for which schools were reopened cannot be achieved. First of all, the students are not in a good frame of mind. They are panicking. They are terrified. Parents are anxious. Teachers are fearful. So, if for nothing at all, how do you expect students to be able to study under these conditions and to write exams when they are panicking and they cannot even get the basics that will reassure them that their safety is guaranteed? And that is why we are saying, like other countries, which reopen schools and as a result of infections in those schools had to close them down. There is no reason why we can't do that. France did it, Israel did it, Germany did it. Once we now know that the pandemic is present on our campuses, why are we keeping the students there? If cabinet can be suspended 2 weeks in a row because there is a suspicion that the virus is present among higher government officials, which we know. We know about the Minister for Education, the Minister for Health, the Minister for Regional Reorganization, and we have been told that the President himself is in isolation for 14 days. So why are we saying that the students should be in school when their colleagues have tested positive? Don't they also deserve the same attention that high government officials are getting?
Ghana's Chief Justice, Kwesi Enim-Yeboah, has gone into a 14-day self-isolation in compliance with COVID-19 protocols. This is according to a circular signed by the Judicial Secretary, Cynthia Pamela Addo, to judges of the High Court.
While the circular did not state emphatically whether or not Justice Enim-Yeboah had tested positive for COVID-19, it said the decision was based on the advice of his doctors.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court has adjourned all cases which were scheduled to be heard this week. According to checks by City News, all 9 cases listed to be heard by the Apex Court judges from Tuesday, 7 July, have been rescheduled with dates yet to be announced.
This comes on the back of fears of an outbreak of COVID-19 at the Judicial Service, which led to the closure of some courts.
Still on COVID-related matters, and the Ghana Education Service has directed the headmistress of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology Senior High School to step aside to allow for investigations into the death of one of her students.
Students accused Felicia Samoa Dankwa of negligence and went on rampage on Tuesday, vandalizing public and private property. The developments brought academic activities at the school to a halt.
City News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Edward Opol-Mafo has more.
Students of the KNUST Senior High School protested overnight on Tuesday after news of the death of their colleague broke. According to the students, their deceased colleague, Leonard Sam, was left unattended to after he complained of illness. The students said school authorities suspected the deceased had contracted coronavirus, hence their decision not to attend to him while he was in pain. He died after he was later rushed to a nearby health facility. His death angered the students who went on rampage to protest what they described as negligence on the part of school authorities. Armed police officers were deployed on Tuesday night to maintain law and order. On Wednesday morning, the students continued with their protest. It took the intervention of officials of the Ghana Education Service and police heads in the Ashanti region to calm the students.
I have spoken to the students. We are going to withdraw some of our men because yesterday we had information that the students had a demonstration. Apparently, they claim one of their students is dead and they are not happy. And so they destroyed some property. We were here yesterday. We were able to keep the situation under control. And so today, the Regional Director of Education and some executives are meeting the students to talk to them to resolve whatever the problem is.
Officials of the GES, leadership of the Parent-Teacher Association, later met management of the school.
Complained about the fact that they used to have suggestion boxes all over the school, and the boxes are no longer there. So I've instructed that from today, the boxes should be put back there so that we listen to them and we know their concerns and try to address them. The students have agreed to go to class tomorrow. So classes will begin tomorrow, by which time we hope that the school would have returned to normalcy. Every parent should rest assured that the world is in good hands.
Leadership of the Students' Representative Council in the Ashanti region admonished the final year students to remain calm as authorities take steps to resolve their grievances.
Well, I think that has been a continuous engagement. This is not an event. It would always be a continuous engagement. We have orientation exercise, but for this COVID-19, we'll be going to every member school, conducting how they should react when they are even not happy about certain development in schools, the channels of communication, and how they should go about if they have concerns. We will continue to engage student leadership for them to also engage their colleagues, that indeed, even when they have issues and they have concerns, Regional Director has suggested that the suggestion board should be constructed and put there for the use of students, so that when they are not happy, quickly they put in whatever they are going. She has also charged the authorities to listen to their concerns and address it. And for us, that is our continuous engagement. We will continue to do that. We won't give up. We will continue to do that.
Some hours later, a statement emerged from the headquarters of the Ghana Education Service directing the headmistress of the school, Felicia Asamoah-Dankwa, to step aside. The statement said the Regional Director of Education in the Ashanti region will take over her duties while investigations continue to reveal circumstances that led to the death of the student.
From the KNUST Senior High School, I am Hafiz Tijani for City News.
Now, as Ghana's COVID-19 infections spread within various organizations, forcing the implementation of work-from-home policies and, in some cases, closure of offices, workers of the Ministry of Finance have also been asked to work from home. This comes after Gridco, Cocoa Board and WASSCE took similar actions after some staff tested positive for COVID-19. We have more in this report.
In the case of the Ministry of Finance, a memo to staff cited by City Business News asked the workers to work from home whilst they await the results of a mass testing that has been carried out. In the memo, the Chief Director of the Ministry, Patrick Numo, said workers whose results return negative would be recalled at an appropriate time into a much safer environment. The memo also stated that some core staff would be left behind to work towards the mid-year budget review expected to be delivered in Parliament later this month. When City Business News visited the Ministry of Finance, only security guards and a few administrative personnel were present on the premises, suggesting that the staff were indeed responding to the memo issued on Tuesday, July 7. The building looked empty as the security guards turned away people who sought to gain entry. In the past few weeks, the number of COVID-19 infections in institutional establishments has gone up. This compelled the Trade and Industry Ministry to announce new guidelines for institutions in curtailing the spread of the virus.
Stop employees with mild cough or low-grade fever from coming to work and seek medical care. Stagger work schedules by breaking the workforce into shifts. It's not every factory or industrial establishment that currently uses a shift system. But now it is absolutely critical that you find one way or the other to shift your workers around. Then limit in-house meetings as much as possible and use online conference platforms. If unavoidable, sitting arrangements should follow social distance protocols.
Earlier this week, the bulk oil storage transportation company, WASSCE, closed down its head office after 46 staff tested positive for the virus. The Ghana Cocoa Board was also hit by COVID-19 infections, leading to the closure of its Accra offices temporarily. Also, the Tema office of the Ghana Grid Company, Gridco, has been closed after one of its workers tested positive for the virus. The most extreme incident of workplace infections occurred at a fish processing factory in Tema, where one worker is believed to have infected 533 people at the facility. Ghana, as of Wednesday, July 8, 2020, had recorded 21,968 novel coronavirus cases, with 129 deaths and 16,070 recoveries.
Now, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, John Dramani Mahama, says his running mate for the 2020 presidential election, Professor Nana Jeno Pukwajiman, is the best bet for the position. According to him, the NDC creates the avenue for women to take up high-level leadership roles to best serve citizens of this country. There's more in this report.
Speaking at an event to inaugurate the party's campaign team, which includes Professor Joshua Alabi as National Campaign Manager, Alex Segbefia and Peter Boama Otukuno as Deputy Campaign Managers, John Mahama says the time is ripe for a woman to become a Vice President of the Republic.
The only two offices that women have never had the opportunity to serve in this country of ours is the presidency and the vice presidency. I believe that with this opportunity, we open up the decision-making process to our female partners and show that together with them, we will move our country forward. We cannot develop this country with a minority of the population of this country, bearing in mind that women in this country constitute almost 52% of the population. Many have said the time is not right for a woman vice president. When will it ever be right? I believe that the time is now.
Speaking on behalf of the team, the National Campaign Manager, Professor Joshua Alabi, noted that the party will win the 2020 elections.
The NDC is also oblivious and not perturbed by the dress rehearsals for intimidation on the D-Day, and we are well prepared for that. Our hard work, together with Providence and grace, will make our way to the Fluffer House come January 2021. Our efforts will not be the measure of our work, but our result. For now, our aspiration is victory, and victory is all we see.
Still on the NDC, and it says it is considering taking legal action against the Electoral Commission for allegedly changing the schedule for registration at some centers across the country. The party has accused the EC for being inconsistent in following its own schedules for the voter registration. Now, given an account of the party's observation on the ongoing voter registration at the press briefing on Wednesday, the Director of Elections of the NDC, Elvis Afriyankra, said this change in schedule is resulting in a lot of confusion. We have more in this report.
The NDC says, per their observations, the Electoral Commission is not playing by the rules of the exercise. The party is accusing the Commission of changing the schedule of registrations gazetted. The Director of Elections of the NDC, Elvis Efriyankwa, says this has legal implications.
The EC has been inconsistent in following its own schedules for the voter registration. The schedules that were published to the general public have been changed on the ground, resulting in a lot of confusion, which is adversely affecting the registration exercise. And mind you, it is not for fun that the schedule is published in a gazette. The gazette is a legal document that states the specific areas where the registration is going to take place. So you publish your schedule in a gazette, then subsequently you start varying it. People plan, I know many people who move from Accra to various regions to go and register, only to get there, and on the ground the schedule has been changed. And there are legal issues, and we are speaking to our lawyers about that.
The opposition NDC also warned that there could be far-reaching consequences if the Electoral Commission does not enforce COVID-19 safety protocols at registration centres. Elvis Efriyankwa said developments at the registration centres indicate a violation of all COVID-19 safety protocols, despite assurances by the EC to ensure compliance.
From the beginning of the exercise, we have witnessed a complete disregard for COVID-19 safety protocols. While we observe that a wearing of face masks is being strictly enforced upon entry at the registration centre, social distancing and washing of hands are not being observed. And indeed, the president himself went out to Abosokai, and you all saw the crowds of people that were following him. It remains mind-boggling how, in the face of a deadly pandemic, where Ghana's case count keeps skyrocketing by the day, President Akufo-Addo and the Jane Mensah-led Electoral Commission will recklessly expose Ghanaians to the risk of COVID-19 infections.
Now, contrary to suggestions that the Electoral Commission's ongoing voter registration exercise may have witnessed low turnout, the Commission says the first phase has been exceedingly successful and exceeded their target. It started phase 1 of the nationwide exercise on 30th June and ended on 5th July 2020. The Commission made these comments at a forum on Wednesday. EC correspondent Sixtus Dongolo reports.
2,215,816 voters were registered between 30th June and 5th July 2020. Of the number, 1,314,468, representing 59.3%, used the Ghana card as proof of citizenship, whilst 37,859, that is 0.2%, used the Ghana passport. 674,617, being 13.7%, however, relied on guarantors to prove their eligibility. A deputy chairman of the commission in charge of operations, Samuel Tete, says though data entry clerks were each given a target of 100 registrations daily, most of them are exceeding this target.
We also have to take stock by looking at the performance of our registration officials. They have been very efficient and effective, and this has actually translated into the number of applicants that are registered in a day. They are very fast, they are very skillful, and this has actually led to a smooth registration process.
Mr. Tete attributes the high success rate to the efficiency of the registration officials and the reliability of the machines being used. The Commission's quest for an entirely new system going into the mass registration exercise generated heated debate, but the EC says from the evidence so far, the decision was worth it.
We also have to look at the performance of the equipment that the Commission acquired, and we have also seen for ourselves the robust and then the fast nature of the BVRs that the Commission acquired. In this case, you find out that the speed of the BVR kits has translated into the number of applicants registered in a day. In some of the centers, we are registering as many as 280 plus because they are robust, they are user-friendly, and they are also very fast.
The fate of Ghanaians living abroad who are eligible and desirous of registering for the December polls, however, remains uncertain.
To go through the CI, they will invite the EC for us to sit down and look at the CI. So as far as the EC is concerned, whatever must be done for the realization of ROPA, the EC has done it. But you know, there are other agencies, other entities of government that must also play a role.
In responding to concerns raised by Domestic Election Observer Group, CODIO, on the observance of COVID-19 protocols at the various centers, the Commission said progress is being made.
It's help in maintaining the social distancing protocols. I think that's where the challenge is, but mainly in the Accra, Greater Accra metropolitan area. And when you look at the information coming from the regions, the registration is very orderly. You see the photograph there, they are sitting in boxes far apart from each other and so on. But on a daily basis, we are going back to the drawing board and improving upon our processes. As we speak, we are even introducing more educative advertisements on the do's and don'ts at the registration center, introducing education on the COVID protocols, and we believe that together we should be able to overcome this.
And will the Electoral Commission suspend the ongoing mass voter registration as suggested by various stakeholders over concerns of Ghana's increasing COVID-19 cases amidst a blatant disregard for COVID-19 protocols?
I think that it's important to know that there are processes that lead to an election. And if before we ask that question, we should be asking ourselves whether we should stop the election or whether we should not conduct the election on the 7th of December. There are processes that lead to an election, as I mentioned, that the registration process is one of such. But if we ask the questions, should we stop, then I think we should also put aside and go to bed and say that the election should not come on the 7th and that it should be postponed one more year. So please let's be objective with our questions.
To some other stories, and the Kufuor administration has rejected claims that dams constructed under the One Village, One Dam initiative are not fit for irrigation purposes. Minister of State at the Agric Ministry says the dams are in use and benefiting farmers, reacting to a survey conducted by the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, which says 90% of the dams are not fit for irrigation purposes. Dr. Jilenora said the findings in the report are untrue. City News' Samiri Afe has more.
The MPP, in the run-up to the 2016 election, promised to construct a number of irrigation dams in the then 3 regions of the north. On the assumption of office, the Ministry of Special Development Initiative was created to spearhead the construction of these dams. Government says a total of 560 dams are to be constructed. On Tuesday, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana made public a research it carried out, which revealed that about 90% of the dams constructed under the government's One Village, One Dam initiative in the Upper East region cannot be used for irrigation purposes. The research says the dams were poorly constructed because government failed to consult agencies such as the district assemblies in the planning phase of the initiative, and as a result, the district assemblies could not effectively supervise the projects. But addressing journalists in Accra, the Minister of State at the Agric Ministry, Dr. Jilenora, says the dams are fit for purpose.
Our aim under the One Village, One Dam is as much as possible to go into drip irrigation, precision irrigation. The amount of water you need for this kind of irrigation is so small that you will not believe it. So looking at the size of a dam alone cannot tell you to say this is suitable for irrigation or this is not suitable for irrigation. Because we built a dam, installed some water, we're now going to, for each of those dams, provide them the opportunity to put up some tanks and small reservoirs that they can fill and use them for drip irrigation. So it's not that it's not suitable.
Dr. Jire Nura also gave a breakdown of the dams constructed and their respective locations.
We are doing a total of about 560 dams. That is these small dams. 560. And if you go across the northern regions now, they are at various stages of completion. And let me give you the data. 30 of these dams are about 50% completed. 69 are between 50 and 89% completed. And 339 are between 90% and 100% completed. But among all these, the total number of dams that have got their embankment wrapped with stones and boulders, because when you finish a dam, the dam wall, you have to put stones. Otherwise, the strength of the water can break it. The number that have been wrapped with stones, that is what you can call a completed dam. There are only 88 of them that have been completed and wrapped.
You're still watching the City Newsroom. When we come back, junior high student receives scholarship following a City TV report.
We have that story and more, don't go away.
Do you know that the Electoral Commission is undertaking the compilation of a new voters register this year, so we will register again?
Every Ghanaian citizen of 18 years and above and of sound mind, ordinarily resident in an electoral area, is eligible to register.
What steps will be taken to ensure the safety of the applicants?
Every applicant must wear a face mask before entering the registration center. No face mask, no entry. You will wash your hands with soap under running water. Your temperature will be checked, while you maintain a minimum distance of 1 meter while in the queue. Your finger will be checked for an electoral stain to know if you've already registered before being sanitized. Your data will be captured on Form 1A. You will provide the officer with your residential address, your GPS address, your hometown address, your town and district, as well as the full names of your parents, dead or alive. Then you will be sent to the data entry clerk. The clerk will sanitize the scanner before capturing your fingerprints. He will then type your details into the biometric system, take your picture, and print the Form 1C and give it to you with the Form 1A. You will thumbprint the Form 1A in front of the laminating clerk. Then the clerk will cut out the card parts of the Form 1C. Then laminate your new voter's ID card for you. Your finger will be dipped in an indelible ink. Hand sanitizers will be provided before you leave the registration center.
When are you going to register?
Daddy, I registered during the last electoral exercise, so I won't register again.
Oh, don't you know that this is a total replacement of the old voters register? It means if you have registered before, you have to register again.
Hey.
You will need either a passport or your national ID card to register. If you don't have a passport or a national ID card, you must provide 2 already registered people to stand as your guarantors.
What about your mother, who's too old to join the queue?
Vulnerable, persons with disability, older adults, pregnant and lactating mothers are not left out. Download the Voters Registration Form 1A from the Electoral Commission website, www.ec.gov.gh. Print it, fill it out, and bring it along with your passport, national ID card, or 2 guarantors to the district office of the Electoral Commission or to the registration center to register. Note that only the vulnerable, the aged, pregnant and lactating mothers will be allowed to print out their form online and bring it to the district office or the registration center.
Register to vote. Your vote is your power.
This is Soul Clinic International School in cantonments in Accra. A few weeks ago, we did a story involving a young lady whom we interviewed randomly when we did a report on preparedness of GHS or junior high school students ahead of the reopening of Form 3 students. One youngster that we interviewed caught the attention of this school, and they have provided her a full scholarship. That is what we are here to celebrate today. But first, let's see that story. How do you feel like being home since March?
It has been quite tedious because when I sit at home, we don't feel like learning. It has been difficult. When we stand up, we have nothing to do. But as we were going to school, we were active at all times. But now that we don't go to school, we are just at home, we don't feel like learning.
So do they teach you from school? Do you have like online classes that they do for you, or since you came back, you've just been relying on your books?
Oh, please, as we are government students, and because we are many in the class, our teachers cannot get all of us our contacts. It's not all of us that we use WhatsApp phones, so we don't get any online classes. Even I don't even have television in my room for me to be watching what they have been teaching on the telly.
Well, so that's the story of Jennifer Anu. She was not only smart, but also expressed her smartness on camera. Someone saw it, someone very benevolent, and decided to assist. Today, I'm here to talk to the administration of the school, which has decided to offer her full-blown scholarship, to have an understanding why they decided to do this, and of course also to inspire other community members. Stay with us on the City Newsroom. So this is the family of Jennifer, just emerging from Soul Clinic International School. Before I hear what they make of that, let me speak to the school administration.
We had a news of Jennifer speaking on TV, and then on City TV. And that actually touched our director. And looking at what we do in Soul Clinic, we work on souls. And we try to harness these ones from communities who are less privileged, and then we support them. So as I speak now, Jennifer has been offered a full scholarship in Soul Clinic to continue her studies. Now, Soul Clinic runs the Cambridge system. That is, you write IGCSE O-level at the end of the 11th grade, which in former days we call Form 5. Now, she will be writing that in the next 3 years. And then when she finishes, she can proceed to the university or continue in the 6th form, where she will do 2 years, and then she's good to go to enter any university in Ghana and in abroad.
So you're offering her full scholarship?
A full scholarship. Scholarship will include school dresses, school materials, and all that will support her to have a nice study.
And school fees.
And school fees, of course.
Thank you so much for this.
You're welcome.
So that's the headmaster here of the primary division of Soul Clinic International School. Exciting news. So Jennifer is here with her uncle, with her mom. Let me hear before from Jennifer. Jennifer, you've heard the news. What's your reaction?
I'm very glad and happy, and I appreciate whatever they've done for me. And I pray to God that God should establish this school and make it bigger than this.
When you heard this and when you were doing the interview with me the last time, did you think that something like this was going to come up?
No, I didn't think that something like this would come, but it has been the grace of God and it has come, so I thank God.
She thanks God. Mommy, offering a scholarship. To na ni ete miniji noni obakewo kachon announcement ne
makenji shida kenklen shida kuma na anyumo
ani die nyonke ba nyi mindanye shiwa denche yake mi susu yolo lonjo mo she wo mindanye shi ojugba denche
bodenche min shumo chun
fine ho ngan
yengbe
ye la market
ewo scholarship na ha bone ebawa bona
fine ba wa mi wa denche dan en solimone nke wo na anyumode ake mi qualify ihe walenye wo lenche ekwelele na anyumefe
okay what anyumoshi. So that is the mother of Jennifer there. It's an exciting piece of news that has come through. It is time to celebrate. It's awesome, unexpected. This is a classical case of the charcoal seller's daughter wearing a white dress. And this can be taken in the most literal of terms because the youngster's mother sells charcoal somewhere in the markets of La in Accra. If you watched that interview I did with Jennifer, she was not only talking about academic progress, she also said, for instance, that during this compulsory vacation as a result of COVID-19, they were supposed to be studying from home following the government education programs on TV. Unfortunately for Jennifer, she's never been able to take part in this, and her reason is that they did not have a television set in their house. Again, another story of benevolence. A colleague of mine in the City FM newsroom who wants to remain anonymous called up and decided to purchase a new television set for Jennifer. And that television set, a 32-inch TV set, has since been delivered to the family, and it is an exciting piece of news again. Jennifer now gets to watch TV in her room, which means that when she returns from school, she'll get the opportunity again to see programs, educative programs, and perhaps if COVID-19 continues and we still have to keep learning virtually, a television should not be the problem. And so all of these put together gives us a reason to be celebrating and to be joyous. But this is a classroom where it all started. We're going in there to see who she is, hear who she is, and interact with her teacher. We have a good package for her coming from a school that saw her interview and loved it, and they are here to offer her a scholarship. And we are here to check with you if she deserves the scholarship.
She really deserves it.
Who is Jennifer Hanum?
Jennifer Hanum is, in fact, a very focused, disciplined girl, very passionate about everything she does, very committed, in fact, regular, punctual. With that, you cannot attest to that fact. And in fact, she's very serious in class and everything. In fact, there are a lot of things that, if you should allow me, I will spend the whole day too. Because, yeah.
Let's talk about this package that is coming her way. What is her academic prowess like? You are her teacher.
Yes, she's very good, as I said, and she's very promising. Looking at our, resources that we have, and despite all these things, and as she said in the interview, that even television and other stuff is something they don't even have. So with all these things, looking at how she's moving in terms of her academics, and so it's so amazing, and I can say that on authority.
So that's the class teacher of Jennifer. Jennifer is amongst these youngsters here learning and preparing for the BEC examination. Because if you're a youngster watching us, let the sky be below your limits. Fight as much as you can. Study hard. Be smart. And better things will come your way. And that is a story that would excite everybody, your parents, your community, and indeed the nation at large. This is City Newsroom. My name is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu, reporting from La in Accra.
Well, TV indeed gets results. A beautiful story over there. The Ministry of Sanitation, through the Greater Accra Resilient and Integrated Development Project, has secured the land to construct an engineered sanitary landfill and materials recovery facility in the Ghana West municipality. This follows the planned decommissioning and re-engineering of the Lokko and Oti landfill sites after health concerns were raised by residents. Now, addressing the press on work done by the Sanitation Ministry so far, the Minister Cecilia Binadapa said 2 transfer stations will be constructed at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and the Adenta municipality.
The management of solid waste across the country has been plagued with numerous challenges. Major landfill sites in the country over the period have been overwhelmed with the chunk of rubbish they receive. Residents living close to landfill sites have consistently put pressure on assemblies to tackle the health hazards they face around these sites or relocate the sites to keep them safe. A clear example is the Pung landfill site, where residents demonstrated and asked for its shutdown. This led to the Cabinet's approval for the decommissioning and the re-engineering of the Pung and the Oti landfill site. In finding an alternative site, the Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, through the Greater Accra Resilient Integrated Development Project, has secured land to construct an engineered sanitary landfill and a materials recovery facility in the Ghana West municipality. This new site is expected to replace the Pung and Oti landfill site.
2 transfer stations will be constructed at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission and the Adenta municipality respectively. 2 major dam sites at Abukobi and Bobulushi, Ofadama, will be capped. Expression of interest and processes are going on. Following Cabinet approval to decommission and re-engineer the Pung and Oti landfill sites, the Ministry has engaged Michelle Zoom Lion, Ghanaian company, to undertake the decommissioning, and engineering works are ongoing at the 2 sites. We are happy with the work so far, and we hope within the shortest possible time, these sites will look like parks and gardens for us to enjoy using the place as well.
Meanwhile, the ministry's street litter bin program has so far secured 8,100 litter bins to be placed at vantage points nationwide. The sector minister, Cecilia Dapa, is asking Ghanaians not to deposit household waste into the bins.
I am proud to say that we've been able to secure 8,100 litter bins, and we've even come out with a newly customized litter bin produced by Duraplast to put around the country. I will urge all of us to not put in our house garbage or waste. It is for itinerant people who walk around with drinks to put in their bottles and their takeaway bowls, if necessary. We have also distributed some of these new bins. We have 3,000 of them. We have distributed 600 to the Ministry of Defense for distribution to their installations, and also 400 bins have also been given to the Ministry of Interior to serve our police stations, etc.
Over 300,000 candidates are set to sit for this year's West Africa Senior High School Certificate Examination, WASSCE. According to the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, which has released the timetable, it has put in place measures to stop the sale of fake examination papers. There is more in this report.
The West African Examination Council has released the timetable for the 2020 West African Senior School Certificate Examination. Students have 60 subjects to select from, made up of 4 core and 56 elective subjects. The exams will begin on Monday, July 20th, with project work for visual arts candidates, while the theoretical papers will begin on August 3, 2020, with the examination expected to run for 5 weeks. The head of public affairs at the West African Examinations Council, Agnes Taikujo, says, despite the outbreak of the COVID-19, the council has begun arrangements for the examination.
Began arrangements for the examination, printing of question papers, dispatch of stationery to the various regions for onward distribution to schools. We have also come up with protocols for the examination with respect to COVID-19. And we'll be making these available to the schools, and also we'll be producing posters that will be pasted at the various examination centers about some of these protocols.
The emergence of websites that engage in the sale of fake exam papers to candidates is prominent during this period, but WASSCE says they have put together a team to monitor such fraudulent websites and urge students to study for the upcoming exams.
Our security unit is on the alert, and we're also collaborating with the CID and some other agencies to be able to monitor the activities of these rogue website operators, so that we'll be able to nip their operations in the bud. We've also alerted the various schools. We are also putting out information to candidates and other stakeholders for them to be aware about these practices. So we want to urge candidates rather to focus on their books and learn for the exam.
Reporting for City News, I am Na Adjole Mofat.
You're still watching City Newsroom on City TV. Still ahead. The National Film Authority sets up 10-member committee to improve locally produced media content.
I'll bring you that story and others. Stay with us, don't go away.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrade, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrade Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
Welcome back to the City Newsroom. Now, the National Film Authority has set up a 10-member committee to improve locally produced media content.
The committee, chaired by the Managing Director of City FM and City TV, Samuel Atamensa, is to spearhead efforts aimed at enhancing and revising content produced in the television sector, attract investments and drive competition. Here is a report.
For a long time, the infiltration of foreign content into the Ghanaian media landscape has been a challenge, as Ghanaian content is hardly broadcast in comparison to foreign content. Most of the over 140 television stations in Ghana have their channels airing foreign content, including telenovelas on a daily basis. Over the years, this has led to job losses and in other cases, the collapse of the outfit of some key industry players. This has often been blamed on the lack of support for local content producers in their quest to produce quality content, which speaks to the culture and identity of the Ghanaian community. The National Film Authority, in the face of these challenges, has instituted the Local Content Committee to lead conversations on how to improve local content, breed a globally competitive film market, and to drive the policy direction to this effect. Inaugurating the committee, the Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture charged the committee to take steps aimed at ensuring that quality locally produced content becomes the hallmark of the film industry and Ghana's media terrain.
If you monitor the landscape of the electronic media, you see that we have a lot of foreign content that is being shown. We have all these kumkumbaja and all kinds of telenovelas. That is not what we want to see. We want to see our local productions on our networks. So this is a way that we think that we can support the industry by creating that access to the market.
The newly appointed chairperson of the committee, Samuel Atamensa, urged industry players to take up the challenge of controlling the narrative using culturally acceptable local content.
The whole idea is to tell our own stories, our own way. I think that's the whole thing we are talking about. And the stories, the legends, the myths, the cultures, the traditions, we can't make them up to date. They are there for us. Now, if you give attention to it, the Western world cannot stop you.
For producers in the film industry, this could be the beginning of a new era of opportunities.
The idea is to see improvement and see change. And I think that we all hope that happens. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're here to support. And a lot of the people who are in the committee, are people who are very familiar with local content. They have been involved in it for a long time. So, we expect that things will happen. We have expectations, and we hope that the expectations will be fulfilled. Yes.
The committee is made up of representatives from the Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, the National Media Commission, producers in the film industry, among other interested parties.
Well, that's it for today's edition of the City Newsroom. Log on to our website, citynewsroom.com, for more stories.
Subscribe to CityTube on YouTube for more exclusive video contents from City TV.
Download the City Newsroom app from the Google Play Store and keep updated on the go.
And you can watch City TV on DSTV channel 363 and GoTV channel 182.
My name is Vivian Lokko.
Mine is Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Thank you for watching.